Hey guys, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux. I want to speak about Makulu today. There's a couple of topics I want to cover. I'm in Vietnam at the moment. Love it here, by the way. It's such a beautiful place. So I thought I'd just sort of roll this video that I found on YouTube. Just roll it in the background. You guys can kind of get this nice overview look of the country while I'm talking. Anyway, um, so yeah, I want to talk about a couple of issues today, or a couple of topics, and they're going to be the website, the repos, the funding, the constructor tool, and the new desktop project. Okay, so those are the topics I'm going to cover today. It's going to be a lengthy video because I'm probably going to give you some good information, rant a little bit, and just talk about some of the issues I've experienced over the last year and how I see things going forward. Okay, so that's going to be quite a video. So just sit back and relax. You've got the um, video that you can watch while listening. Anyway, so let's start with the website. Okay, so the website's been experiencing some problems, as I'm sure some people have noticed, and there's a reason for that. Okay, and it all started just after I announced the desktop project, which is kind of weird coincidence. So I don't know if it's just script kiddies or if it's somebody that I seriously pissed off with that announcement. But somebody hacked the website, okay, and they deleted a lot of content. Um, like seriously deleted a lot of stuff. And anyway, I didn't really have any new backups, which I'm doing now a lot, but I didn't, and so I kind of had to rebuild half the website. So nice, isn't that? I spent a few days just not in a good mood rebuilding the website. Okay, so the website I rebuilt and I installed a lot of firewalls and anti-spam and anti-this and anti-that and just doing backup. Installed a backup manager that does automatic backups and just a whole lot of stuff and extra security and blah 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 blah. So of course they couldn't easily hack it again. And then what happened after that was instead they started either brute force attacking or DOS attacking. I'm not sure what the big difference is, but yeah, the website's under serious attack, and it seems to come randomly. Um, there's some days that it just floods the box and it's just everything's in the red. The CPU usage is in the red, the virtual memory is in the red, the physical memory is in the red, the I/O input outputs in the red. Because I can see this in the cPanel. The host has been complaining to me that I'm like maxing out everything, and obviously the website is hosted on a box that's shared with other clients, and it's affecting the other clients, and so they're not happy with me. Um, yeah, so I kind of, I don't have time to still deal with this. I'm very busy. And so I just, with these kind of attacks, the most efficient or the easiest way to handle them is to just wait it out, kind of thing. I mean, that's just the easiest. Just let them have their fun and then move on. If it's some script kiddies, after a week or two or a couple of days, they kind of get tired and they just kind of move on. So that's kind of the way I'm handling it at the moment. What I do is when I see that the website is under serious attack, and what I do then is I redirect the website to the SourceForge ISO download page. So anybody that comes to the website, most of the people probably come to download. They just go straight to the ISO page and they can just grab ISO. And when the attacks stop, I kind of push the site back over to the normal page. So that is why you're seeing it sometimes go to SourceForge and why you're seeing it sometimes go to the home page. The specific reason is if you see it going to the SourceForge page, it means the website is currently under brute force or DDoS attacks. Okay. Um, yeah, it's unfortunately you have those guys in the world that will just do that, and they for some reason are targeting Makulu. So not much I can do about it except just wait it out. So you're just gonna have to be patient along with me, and trust me, as frustrated as you could be, I'm 1,000 times more frustrated. Okay, but it's one of those things. I have to deal with it. So that's the website, okay? The website's been under attack now for a few days. I noticed whenever I redirect the website, a couple of hours later, the attacks stop. I think they probably realized that the attacks kind of in vain when the website's not physically being viewed and used by users. Then it stops, and then I remove the redirect, and then either a couple of hours later it will start again, or maybe a day or two later it starts again, and then I just redirect again. So it will go on for a few days, or a week, or two, or a month. I'm not sure how long they're going to keep it up, but I've got forever, so they'll eventually tire. Okay, that's the website. Um, Now I want to speak about the repos, the repo servers, and this is actually the core of all the problems that Makulu has suffered over the last, I'd say, the last 2.5 months, or maybe last 2.5, 3 months. Any problem that's been related to users getting apt-get update issue errors, or getting drivers, or just getting struggling to get updates on the boxes, on the installs, or any installation related problems, even the installer. Um, it's all related to the changes on the repos. Okay, and this ties in as well. I have to cover the topic of funding because it's directly related. Now, up until last year, I was running three repo server boxes for Makulu. Okay, and there were three paid boxes, and I would pay them monthly myself. There were a couple of months some donations came in, and if they did, cool, I'll use that money towards the repo boxes and the website. But for the most part, I'd say out of a 12-month period, for about 8 to 10 months, I would be paying them myself. But then I moved to China, and things became increasingly difficult, and everything censored there, and it was hard even just working on Makulu, never mind still trying to make online payments. And so I couldn't keep up the payments of the repo servers, and of course the users didn't really donate much, or in general they don't. So I had to one by one turn off the repo servers, okay? And when I got to the last repo and I couldn't keep that going, and I knew it was just a matter of time before it goes off, I decided to instead maybe look at a free alternative. And SourceForge seemed to be a good idea, and I saw a couple of other distros using SourceForge, and they seemed to be happy with it, and so that's what I did. I switched to SourceForge, turned off the box. For a couple of months it ran well. SourceForge is a decent host, and then SourceForge sold to a third party. The third party took over. The third party decided to start making changes. They changed from HTTP to HTTPS and made a bunch of other changes. And suddenly, if you are behind a proxy, you will get errors accessing that server, that repo server. So anybody that's having any kind of problems with Makulu, any updates or anything like that, the reason is you are behind a proxy. Or if you're not, your ISP is. And I know quite a lot of ISPs are behind proxies. So either you're behind a proxy, or your ISP is behind a proxy, or you're using Makulu in a virtual environment. Those three cases would result in issues getting access to the repo server. Okay, so this is why the last two editions have been labeled by some people as unstable and not my best work and blah 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 and whatever else the mainstream media want to call it. To be honest, it's not a problem from my side at all. It I see it as justice, almost not justice, but kind of like consequences catching up with actions. That I kind of see it that way because I said last year many times, guys, I need help with funding this project. Either sponsor some boxes or maybe help fund some boxes. Just make a donation so I can keep the stuff going. And nobody had responded. I put donation buttons into the distros, nobody responded. I mentioned it in the YouTube videos, on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere. No one responded. Some donations do come in, but it's not even enough to keep one of the boxes going. Never mind three. So and then yeah, I don't know what the users thought would happen. The boxes would just stay on themselves. It doesn't work that way. This is a greedy world. You don't pay something, it gets turned off. So one by one the boxes started going off, and yeah, the free servers are not of the same quality. So there's nothing wrong with my work on Makulu. It's always been the same high quality that it's always been. The problem is that the users kind of couldn't give a shit about the project and didn't even want to help fund it at all. And the consequences of that was that obviously those boxes were lost, and it had a negative effect on the project. Obviously, I mean, there's no denying that. So the guys that did make some donations, because a couple came in this month, and it allowed me to get a new paid repo. I want to thank you guys for at least helping out and like doing your part in the project. That's really nice. I really appreciate it. And also, Craig, I see, has made a pledge on Patreon, and I will use that to keep the new repo box going. So very, very thankful for that, Craig. You really take such a lot of stress off my shoulders, man. That is so nice of you. Thank you. To the rest of you freeloaders out there that kind of just couldn't care, a big fuck you to you guys. Sorry for the language, but that's just the way it is. Um, and I know a lot of users kind of, I people message me on like Skype, Facebook. They get hold of me on the website or the forums, or they email me. So I get a lot of people like coming to me and saying, "Ah, this is the error that I have, and how do I fix it?" And da 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 da. Da. And then quite a large number of people will like, I don't know if it slips out or if they just openly, but they'll say like, "Oh, I put Makulu on a client's PC and he's having this problem. How do I fix it?" And I think to myself, but you're charging somebody money to put Makulu on there, and you can't like donate $5 to the project, and now you're moaning because the repo is offline. I mean, how does that make sense to you? And now you're asking me about it. What did you think was going to happen if the repo wasn't paid? It was just going to magically stay on, and somehow it's my problem because you couldn't donate $5 or $10 to the project when you're making money off the project. I mean, it's kind of just ironic. And then, some guys will like get hold of me on Facebook and have questions about this or that or issues they have. And then you look at these guys' profiles, and then he's like a doctor or he's a lawyer. Quite a lot of doctors and lawyers and people, of like upper class use Makulu, by the way. And you look, and the guy's got like, you can see he's got serious money, man. Porsches or like Mercs and stuff that they're riding, or really fancy motorcycles, and you can see there's some serious dough on this guy's profile, but he can't donate like $5 towards a project or something. Anyway, so yeah, it's no excuse. I know there's a lot of guys out there that can't donate, and that's okay because the project is not about me making money. It never was. But it is about the project paying for itself because I cannot keep paying it forever. So the guys that can donate, stop freeloading and just help the project out. It is actually, I see it as your duty, not just optional. If you are in a position to help and you like the project, you want to continue using it, then I'm sorry, that's just kind of the price you pay. The price I pay is I slave away to make something for you. The price you pay is you help out where you can. That's just kind of like how the world works. It's supposed to be how everything works. Um, I mean, if the project, if I didn't have to pay for servers, then that's a different story. But they have to be paid, or there's consequences, and the consequences are that you will then end up with an ISO where you have issues with repos, or the website will go off, or whatever the case might be. So I'm just want to put this. I know I'm spending like 5 or 10 minutes on this issue, but I really, really want to stress this issue out before I get to the good stuff. You guys have to realize that this isn't just something you can sweep under the rug. It is a serious, serious problem. The project is lacking in funds. I've got such a lot of ideas on how to expand the project, like far beyond what most people probably even could consider where the project's headed. And I've had to put every single one of those plans on hold because I cannot fund any of it. And it's a terrible thing when you have a vision or imagination and there's limitations that get put on it. And it's really a terrible thing. At one stage I was thinking of hiring maybe a couple of coders and getting some stuff done out there, and I've got some really wacky wild ideas of things that I could possibly do. And I've just had to put them all on hold because I don't have the funding, and clearly the users, for the most part, just don't give a shit. So it's a terrible curse. So if you can help out, it's very easy to donate. You go to the website, there's a donate box, put in a total, and click donate. It will go a long, long way. I will make every cent count. It all goes towards repo boxes, website hosting, and if anything's left over, I'll keep it for the next month for website, repo hosting, whatever the case might be. I should actually, in truth, have 3 repo boxes running with Makulu. Ideally, 3 repo boxes, and the project runs like a dream as it did before. Currently, I've got one, and it's also by very cheap paid hosting. So I'm kind of just hoping that the no, and I don't have any issues there. But I'm still having to put up one repo and somehow make that work on where putting using one doing three different repos work. So it's a little bit difficult at this point in time, but I'm making it work for the most part. Okay. If you want to help out with a project on a sort of a more monthly basis, maybe you're in a position where you could do that, then there is a Patreon page where you can pledge some bucks every month, and at least that way I know that money is coming in and I can sort of budget accordingly. Like if I know $50 is coming in or $100 is coming in, and a box costs so much and the website costs so much, I can literally then work out the actual budget and try and stick to that budget. Okay, so if you guys want to help out the project and you can't donate a box for me to use, and you're not a coder or a graphic designer, but you have some bucks, then help out. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. It takes not I don't even think it takes 2 minutes of your life to donate. And it helps the project in so many ways. Okay, so that topic's over. My ranting done, but I just needed to stress that. Okay, so let's move on to the good stuff. Okay, so firstly, the constructor tool. Now, the constructor tool is going under some major changes. And the reason for that is so much has changed over the last year in the Linux world. The login managers have undergone some major changes, MDM and LightDM especially. The new Cinnamon, from the new 2.6 and then 2.8 and now the new 2.10. Cinnamon is making some major changes to their project. Um, yeah, just in general, a lot of things are changing, and I have to update the constructor tool accordingly. And not just that, I'm also updating the constructor tool to be compatible with the new desktop project. So the constructor tool is undergoing some major changes, and it's a lot of rewrites. So it's a lot of work. It's not just editing 1 or 2 lines. It's a lot of work. I'm also making it more automated so that users, don't have to input a lot of stuff. You don't have to type a profile name when you want to back it up. You can just select it and that kind of thing. It's a lot more automated, more sort of tick okay kind of thing. So the constructor tool will be nice. I'm also switching from the old style installer to the new kind of more mint style installer. I'm implementing that into the constructor tool, so that will be a nice change for users as well. So the constructor tool is undergoing some major work, and it's going to come out and it's going to look great and it's going to work great, and it's just going to be great all around. Okay. um, then the desktop project. Now that's the main topic that everybody's been waiting for, and the desktop project is an amazing idea. It started off with I was actually just going to transform one environment, and then I thought to myself, but why limit it to one? I mean, I kind of know all the different environments. I've worked on Unity, I've worked on XFCE, I've worked on KDE, I'm busy working on GNOME, I've worked on Cinnamon, I've worked on LXDE, I've worked on Mate. So why limit myself to one desktop environment? And I thought to myself, there's lots of distro builders out there. There's many, hundreds, thousands, I don't even know. There's many, so the competition is rife. You have to keep up with everybody else and always be the newest and the best and blah, 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 blah. A lot of work, especially working in the core, optimizing many things. There's a lot of work in distro building, okay, especially on Makulu side, because I do spend a lot of time exploring the core system and just trying to optimize everything as much as I can. Right. But then I thought to myself, I need to cut down on my workload because I cannot keep going like this. Um, since the project's not making money, especially the last year, it's been dead funding wise. I've had to get a day job. I'm traveling in Asia. I'm not in my comfort zone in South Africa, and I have to pay things. I have to pay for rent. I have to pay everything here, and so I had to obviously start maybe look at part-time teaching, which is what I'm doing now. And then still to do that and Makulu every day, and then still have some kind of social life. It's a lot of strain, man. It's a lot of pressure. So I've had to look for ways to cut down on how much time I spend on the project. So instead of spending 8 or 10 hours a day on the project, I have to look at a way of maybe spending an hour or two or maybe three on the project, and then that's it. And this is where the desktop project idea came into play. Now the desktop project will take me, I estimate, at this current rate, maybe a year to finish, and it's a lot of work, and I'm spending many, many, many hours a day on it. But once it's done, long term, or once that's done and the first actual version 1.0 goes live and it's fully functional, after that my workload gets cut a lot. So long term, less work; short term, a lot more work. That's how it is at the moment. So let's talk what let's talk about what the desktop project actually is, and who will use it and how it affects the users. Okay, so the desktop project is a four-layer system. Okay, everybody keeps going on about cosmetics, cosmetics, cosmetics. Cosmetics is only the first layer. There's a four-layer system to the desktop environment. The first layer is the cosmetic layer. Everything you see on the screen physically, the panels, the themes, the background, the wallpapers, all of that's cosmetics. So that's the cosmetic layer that you see. The second layer, it's a four-layer system. Only three layers are currently being applied on the. Well, I'm focusing on three layers. The fourth layer will come in much later, most likely in like next year only. So I won't talk about the fourth layer at this point in time. Okay, so the second layer is everything that filters off from the first layer. Okay, and then the third layer is everything that filters off from the layer that filters off from the cosmetic layer. Okay, so it's a three-layer system. Um, so how does that all work? Because that just sounds confusing. Okay, let me explain. Let's say, for example, I'm transforming a XFCE environment, right? I change it, I apply it, boom, there we go. Now we've got Makulu look and feel. However, there's a lot more involved with Makulu look and feel than just simply a themes and wallpaper. You've got the additional, for example, in the XFCE, you've got the additional Synapse menu. You've got the Android apps, and if you open up the file browser, you'll notice on the right-click options, you've got a lot of other stuff there: scan for viruses, firewalls, and blah blah blah. These are all part of the second layer because they install additional software that have to individually be configured. So, for example, to get the second extra menu, you need to install Synapse. Synapse has to be configured. Okay, to install the Android apps, you have to run them as Chrome extensions. So Chrome has to be installed in the background, whether the user uses it or not. And those have to be configured individually. The To have the antivirus working and the firewalls working, you have to have those installed and configured and updated and everything else. Okay, so there's the second layer is the physical software, third-party software that has to sort of be installed for you to actually have the Makulu experience. Because without those, you might as well just sort of release the theme and release the backgrounds and let the people put them on. That's pretty much what they would do to get that first layer of cosmetics, but then they wouldn't have all the extras that kind of make it all magical. So the first layer is the cosmetics. The second is everything that filters off from the cosmetics, like third-party software, any config files that have to be edited, that kind of thing. That's all the second layer. The third layer is any dependencies that get forked from the everything else. Um, any dependencies or anything like that that also need to be configured or edited or changed or whatever the case might be. Now, granted, there's not most of the dependencies are just sort of used standard, but there are a couple that do need to be configured or changed. And on just a single environment like XFCE, there won't be too many. But when you start looking at Unity and KDE and this and that, and you put it all together, it does add up to quite a few. And that's a very sensitive layer, because if you screw up on that layer, it screws up both the other two layers. So, there's a lot of work. So it's a three-layer system that has to work in balance. So that on its own is a lot of work and very complex. Okay. So that is currently how the system works. It's a three-layer system that does not touch your core. It transforms your desktop. So it transforms your cosmetic layer, it transforms anything that spins off from that, and any dependencies that spins off from the first spin off the cosmetic layer. Okay, so that is in essence what the desktop project currently is. That is how it transforms your existing desktop into a Makulu desktop. So the guys that are out there going, it's just cosmetics, look at it, it looks pretty, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, actually, I couldn't care what to say. But the fact is, there's a lot more involved than just simply changing cosmetics. Okay, so I just wanted to put that across. Right, so let's talk about who will use it and why would they use it. Okay, well, firstly, I've noticed a lot of the distros out there never change their look at all. They've still got the, video's finished, hold on. I'll switch to another one. Okay, let's maybe switch to that video. So, so yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that like the look and feel and the style of Makulu, and but they kind of worried about installing it, and they're currently running Mint, or they're running Zorin, or they're running whatever, and they really like the look and feel of Makulu, and they like some of the ideas and so forth, but they're worried about their current system. Okay, there's going to be a lot of guys that will enjoy this project. They will love it, the fact that they can just one click install and it transforms their whole desktop. They don't need to reinstall or anything like that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys that will find it appealing. And since it's unique, nobody else is making anything like that, it's going to really be a hit once it's done. But anyway, I just want to assure the guys that are going to be using it or going to be trying it, I am working with the idea in my head. Every line of code I write, the main focus of the project, apart from what it's supposed to do, is to protect the user. That is a big thing in my head. Every time I write a line of code, I write another script or another line that sort of, um, you know, undoes what I do. So everything is backed up. If I make a change to a file somewhere, that file is backed up before any changes are made. So every line of code that gets written to change something, there's a counter line of code that undoes that action. Okay, so there is no risk to the user. No risk at all. If he installs it, he can 100% remove it and restore his existing environment as it was before he installed Makulu. So he cannot break his system by installing Makulu. And even if he found a way to break it, which I don't think he can, but even if he could find a way, if he screws it up so badly that he breaks his system, there's literally an uninstall icon, just run it and it just restores everything. It's almost like having your system backed up by constructor tool and then restoring from that. Okay, it's similar kind of concept. So it is 100% safe to use. Once it's released, it will be perfectly safe for anybody to use. I want to stress that point big. Okay, so it's a lot of work writing this because, like I said, it's a three-layer system, very sensitive, and you can't just transform the default XFCE. You have to make it compatible with all the popular environments out there, and there's hundreds. And quite a few of them will make subtle changes to file paths and things like that. And this does affect it because I have to counter, I have to detect this system, detect that system, detect this system. And if this system detected, do this. If that system detected, do that. So there's a lot of functions that are being written, lots of them, for that kind of thing. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of complex work, put it that way. Because at the end of the day, you've got like 200 functions to do one thing, and it just makes your head spin. Okay, and for each of those functions, you then have to sort of implement actions, and it really is very, very complex. Okay, but I do know what's going on with it, so that's obviously what's important. At the end of the day, though, I want the users to know that I'm focusing on um, safety, safety of your system. No personal files get lost. No personal files get replaced. No software on the existing machine gets removed. And everything gets backed up. All changes. Before the script even starts doing its thing, it backs up every bit of info that will be replaced. And there is a complete uninstall where you can remove and restore everything that was changed. Okay, so you can feel very at ease with the fact that you can put it on, check it out, you like it, keep it, you don't like it, remove it. Nothing lost. Okay, so that's something that I'm working hard on. Okay, and yeah, so the desktop environment is going to be a one command install on all kind of thing. I'm busy with the XFCE, started on the Unity and kind of started on the Cinnamon as well. I'm working on each one individually at first, to make sure that it all works. And once it all works, I'll tie it all together and actually have it detect your desktop environment. So it will detect, yes, you're running XFCE. If you're running XFCE, which XFCE are you running? And once it detects that, it will then take the appropriate action to transform that desktop environment. So like I said, it's very complex, but that's pretty much how it's going to work. And it will transform the three layers on your computer, but it will not touch your core system at all. So your core environment is perfectly safe. It does not change, edit, it does not touch it. So if you, for example, have Mint or Debian installed and you install Makulu Desktop, the only update you will get from Makulu is on the three-layer system that affects Makulu, and that's it. You will still get all your core updates from Debian or Mint or wherever you got them before, all your software updates from their individual repos that you've added yourself. That will still, your core system will still stay as stable as it was, exactly getting your updates from where you got it before. Makulu does not interfere with that at all. That is how the desktop environment will work. So you can see that it's a really great idea, a nice concept. And here's the nice part. I have the skills to build this. Okay, it is not that, oh, it's a dream of mine and I think I can do it, and if I do, no, none of that. I have the skills to do it. I already have an alpha out, fully operational alpha. Okay, it's kind of limited on which desktop environments it works at the moment, but that's only because I'm still busy adding support for more. But it is already functional. Testers are running it right now. I made 2 or 3 videos that I put out showing it working. So I have the skills to do this. So it's not a question of if, it's more a question of when. When do I find the time to do it? How long will it take me? And when will you have it? Okay, so that's literally the question, is when. It's not that I can't do it, I am doing it. It's just when. So at the moment, I am very limited on time, and that's why I estimate it will take me maybe a year to do, because there's a lot of work involved. I mean, a lot of work. And I don't have more than 4 or 5 hours a day to spend on Makulu. So it is going a little slow, but it is going at a constant pace. Um, and once again, it comes back to funding. You guys help fund the project. I find more time to do the stuff, because the more money coming into the project, the less I have to work daytime and part-time work, and I can focus on Makulu. It all works in a nice relationship when it works. But anyway, um, so yeah, so it's just a matter of time. You guys need to be patient and just sort of watch the news and watch the videos as I put them out. And over the next few months, I'll probably have some kind of beta or alpha or something that will be available to public that they can use to test. So yeah, that's basically how it will all operate at the end of the day. Now the ISOs. Everybody keeps like wondering, am I going to stop doing ISOs? How's that going to work? The answer is no. At the moment, because the repo caused so much problems with the last two releases, and those the issues the users are getting is it's not everybody. It's a small amount of users. Only the guys behind a proxy, or the guys who have ISPs that are behind a proxy, or the guys that use it in a virtual environment. I'm estimating that's maybe 5% of the people, maybe 6% of the actual user base. So, there's been thousands and many thousands of downloads, and maybe 100,000, maybe 400,000, I don't know. It's many downloads. So it will be a few thousand people that get affected. And these are the guys that moan. For the most part, most users don't get affected, so they can just keep running it as is. The guys that are affected, don't worry. I'm busy putting up a new repo box. I'm busy with it. It'll probably be ready in a week or two. Who knows? I'm busy populating it. Once the repo's live, I will put out two new updated ISOs. And the Aero edition I've been working on, especially the Aero. I've made some major changes to Aero. So I think everybody will want to upgrade, because the Aero was an experimental release. It was the first time I'd ever done that. The new version going live is so much better. Wow, I've just outdone myself again with the work on that. But anyway, I will put out the new Aero ISO, and I will put out new XFC ISO. So when those two will go live, and that will be the last of the 10 series. As of the 11 series, everything will be related to the Makulu desktop project. Okay, that it will all be tied in. The ISOs will be tied in with that as well. What I'll do from the 11 series onwards is I will not do any more core work on Makulu. So no more core updates, okay? I will literally probably be using Debian as a base, because it's a rolling release Debian. So for core system, I'll probably be using Debian testing, and then I will put Makulu desktop on it. And ISO wise, I'll sweeten it up a little bit, so you'll get some really nice, cool optimizations or something that you won't get on the actual if you install the Makulu desktop on your own XFCE. But the ISOs will get the core updates from Debian, okay, and then the desktop environment, the three-layer system updates will come from Makulu. So as of the 11 series, which will be much later this year, that is the way it will work. You can still download the ISO, and it's just that your core updates will now come from Debian. Okay, so that's also kind of good news, because Debian almost never screws up. I mean, they're very stable. So you'll be running a very stable system. But you will have the three-layer system working on those ISOs. So it will be kind of a little unique relationship that will go on there. And I think for the project, it will be good, because Debian has many guys that work on Debian, and so you can sleep and rest easy knowing you're getting good, stable updates, and everything else comes from us. So that's how the ISOs will work. Okay, so it will be rolling release, so the guys need to install once and then never again. And the Makulu desktop, the project is also designed in such a way that at any point in time, when every single update I put out, it will pop up a little box on your screen. It will say these are the latest changes to the desktop. They affect the first layer or the second layer or the third layer, whatever, and these are the changes. Would you like to apply these, yes or no? That is how no update will be forced on a user, because now everything's forced on the user. I mean, if there's an update, his system just updates, whether he likes it or not. The desktop environment, this desktop project will not work like that. It will literally ask the user whether he wants to apply the update or not. If he's happy with his current system, that's it. Why apply the update? If it's something that, if it's a bug fix or something, and he's been waiting for that bug fix, then he can just click simply yes, I want to apply this update, and it will apply it to his system. If there's a change on the cosmetic layer, for example, that directly affects him because he likes the way the panel is now, and this new update comes and asks, do you want to do this to your panel, and he doesn't want to, then click no. You want it, click yes. Okay, so that's how it will work. So it's a really unique project, very complex, very new, and it is on its way. There's nothing that's going to stop it. I don't, I mean, I know the funding at the moment sucks for the project, and even if the website goes down because I can't pay it, and the repo servers go down because I can't pay it, I will still continue to work on this, even if I end up releasing it on SourceForge itself at the end of the day. It is something I'm busy with. It's something I'm very excited about. I feel very fired up about it. So I'm spending a lot of time on it. Okay. So I know things seem a little bit wacky with Makulu at the moment, but it is going through one of these transitional periods where I have had to make some difficult choices, and now I have to see them through. Okay. So it will all stabilize itself, but then the world will not stop functioning. Just bear with me. It is a free project, and sometimes these kind of things happen. So you're just gonna have to go through it with me. It's like a marriage. When times are great, yay. When times are bad, you still have to kind of go through it. It's like a marriage. Not every day is a happy day. So these last 2 months have not been happy months, but I am making some changes now that will sort of stabilize everything, fix everything, and give the project a brighter future. So that is where I am. I know this video has been long and some of it I've ranted, but I've needed to rant because I need you guys to understand how much I actually need you to get involved. If you cannot offer skill and you cannot offer like hosting or something, but you are in a position to offer some money, then do so, please. I need you guys to get involved. I cannot stress this enough. If you can offer a box, great, then please do. Support at MakuluLinux.com, or even my email address, raymondjacques@gmail.com. You can get hold of me there easily. There's even a contact form on the website that you can use to get a hold of me. If you have coding skills, get hold of me. If you're a graphic designer, get hold of me. There is the cosmetic layer that needs somebody to work on it, then get hold of me. If you can donate, do so. It's so easy to donate on the website. And I think maybe this is another problem, the guys do not want to donate via the website for some reason. If you can't do it via the website, or you don't want to do it via the website because you want to be anonymous or whatever the case might be, get hold of me. I'm not a difficult guy to get hold of. But I do need you guys to get involved. I'm one guy doing this on my own, and I've been doing it for 3 years. The first year, they said this project will probably not make it very far. In fact, DistroWatch wouldn't even list me the first year because they were like, it's just another. So, 1 year later, I was still there. Then I saw people going, he's one developer, yeah, he's been going okay so far, but these guys, they burn themselves out. They can never keep it going for very long. Second year, I was still there. Then I moved to China, and everyone is predicting this is the end of the project, the end of Makulu. 3 years. Well, we're already well into the fourth year. And I'm still here, guys. And I will still be here the next year, and I'll still be here the year after. I'm not going anywhere. The quicker everybody realizes that, the better. However, I can't always keep paying for everything at the same time, keeping everything going, because, if you guys do not help, then I can't always guarantee everything will be running stable and smooth. But I'll still be here. So, I just needed to stress all of this out. I needed you to understand where the project was, where it's been, what's going on, and where it's going to. Okay? I have some great ideas of things I want to maybe start implementing after the desktop project. I've got a lot of other projects, all Linux related, that just sitting up here in my brain waiting for opportunity to get explored. But one thing at a time. For now, it's the desktop project. I will get that up and going in time. I am working very hard on it. It's a new concept, and man, I think it will change a lot of the way Linux works from a Makulu point of view. I mean, for you to just be able to transform any desktop anywhere with a single command, I mean, wow, that on its own is just like mind orgasm. Anyway, so yeah, this is Jacques from MakuluLinux. Thank you for sticking, those guys that listen to this video. Thank you for putting up with it. I hope to release a few more of these videos, although they'll be more informative and won't be so long. But I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll chat to you guys soon. Cheers.